Hey everybody, welcome to Speech Bubble. I am Butch Hartman, and Jace, you know what? There's a tiny little mouse at the end of the table over there. And did you want to take over something?
I want to take over your podcast, Butch Hartman.
Oh
yes.
my God, Jace,
yes.
run! Oh no! Roll the theme music! Oh, Pinky, we're going to take over the world. I can sort of do it.
That's not bad.
Hello.
That isn't bad at all.
I've got it from him, from the master himself.
We know a remote farm in Lincolnshire where Mrs. Buckley lives. Every July, peas grow there. Do you really mean that? That's the Orson Welles I do.
Oh my God,
that's the one I got. That's the one I got. Seduced by it. The Orson Welles outtake. And when I was a little kid, I saw the 1967 Casino Royale.
With George Lazenby.
No.
That wasn't Lazenby.
David Niven.
David Niven? Oh, David Niven's in that one.
Yeah, it was a comedy. It was a spoof.
That's right, of James Bond, of course.
And the two voices that stood out to me were Woody Allen.
Woody
yes,
Allen.
Yes, that's what I do. And the other was Orson Welles as Le Chiffre, the villain of the original novel. And the guy against whom Peter Sellers plays Baccarat, and I'm going to have that check now, Mr. Bond. I thought, how does a voice get
God, that's
that
amazing.
deep?
That's
That's amazing. And he did this magic trick, and I just thought, who is that guy?
How old were you?
I was like 10 when
Wow.
Casino Royale came out.
So we are on the podcast now with Maurice LaMarche. We started the podcast. This is a perfect way to start, going into his love of Orson Welles.
We started because I'll tell you, we had such a nice little time shticking before we started.
The shtick. We like the shtick.
You should roll the cameras as the guest comes in and get that stuff because everybody's relaxed.
Now, Maurice has come in. The goodness of your own heart. Thank you very much for coming in.
Oh, I'm honored and flattered that you want me.
Are you kidding me? That's great. And I want to apologize to you. I owe you a huge apology because I've never really worked with you on my shows. We never had the honor, and here's why. All my voice actors were so great. I never had need to go outside.
No,
I
saw that. I said, well, that's a closed session there. That's a perfect bubble of. It's interesting that.
Speech bubble.
See there? But that's a perfect bubble of voice actors. Where are they going to fit me in? There's no guest characters that Jeff, couldn't do.
Or Rob or any of those guys, or Darren or anybody.
So that we're already in. So I never went like, why doesn't Butch Hartman ever book me?
so
Butch Hartman hates me. Actually, I did say all those things. And then somebody explained,
I know.
Dude, it's like he's got everybody there already. And I went, okay.
All right.
You sure Butch likes me?
But I have run past each other many, many times.
Many times. The halls of Nickelodeon.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the train at
Comic-Con.
To Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah, Comic-Con.
I saw you over there with your family. I was like,
yeah, that's right.
And I thought, he hates me, so I'm not going over there.
I did throw something at you. I did throw things at you one time. It was sharp things.
Whip me a thing?
Yeah, exactly. But Maurice and this is really interesting. We just came across this actually. I videotaped a Johnny Bravo recording session back in 1996, I think.
96.
And we just found the footage, and we're going to make a YouTube video out of it. But you're in the video.
Oh my gosh!
You were on Johnny Bravo session. One of the
I've
first
done
ones.
A couple of them. I remember.
And so there's footage of you and as our younger selves.
Is Seth there?
Seth is there too.
Yeah.
Seth MacFarlane's it. Yep.
Yeah.
He's buying the footage, so we can't put it out.
And he could
nominated
hold
for
out
Oscar.
for a good number. He's got it on him. Whatever it is, he's got it.
He's got it on him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. $10 million, Seth. All right, I happen to have that.
I haven't had that. Oh, is that all? Exactly.
Yeah.
Wiping his head with $100 bills.
Do you have a Square reader? Here we go. This credit card has a $10 million.
Exactly.
It's that easy. No, I remember Van Partible, our dear friend and creator of Johnny Bravo,
yes, sir.
wanted there to be a British narrator at the beginning of every episode. So I remember in the first couple, at least, I always started with, and now we join Johnny Bravo and his mum.
That's
right. And then that gradually got phased out. I have probably been the British narrator.
You weren't good at it then. You didn't do a good job.
It's just one of those things that everybody, I think, creates something and goes, let's have one of those Python-esque British narrators. Who does a good job on that? Rob Paulson, he's booked. Who else does? Maurice LaMarche. Okay, he's not booked. Get him in here. And so I like, Disenchantment was supposed to have a British narrator at the beginning. And it becomes a thing where they try it for a few episodes and they go, the British narrator thing isn't really working.
Yeah,
they dropped it.
Form of exposition.
Exactly. And they want to Pythonize it a little bit. And they go, we're conveniencing a joke there. It's in the way. And they take it out.
Right.
You were talking before we got started.
Maurice is pointing to Jace. Maurice is pointing to Jace.
Jace, you were talking about Tomorrowland. And
The movie Tomorrowland.
The movie Tomorrowland with George Clooney. And that sequence that got deleted that's in the special features, the animation, that was originally something that was at the beginning of the movie, the very beginning.
Was it a British narrator?
No, it was Orson Welles.
Yeah.
It was.
And it was meant to be Orson Welles. And Brad Bird, you know, knowing my work on Pinky and the Brain, et cetera,
Oh, I see.
you know, said, it's got to be Mo. And he had me in to do Orson Welles. And he said, now this is really Orson Welles. He's one of the geniuses, you know.
Who build Tomorrowland?
Who helped build.
Part of Plus Ultra.
Yeah, Plus
Getting
Ultra.
really
he's
nerdy.
like, they just take in all the geniuses of the world throughout history. And Tesla was there. And I believe, is Edison there?
Yeah, Edison.
And
We did
so,
the same thing on this podcast.
Yeah, we brought in all the geniuses.
Yes, all the
assembled the
So
team
that
of
was
geniuses.
originally the opening of the movie. And my dear friend Miguel Ferrar, God rest his soul.
Oh, I love. I know him from RoboCop.
Yeah,
What a
Mickey
great
is
actor.
one of the great guys, just one of the great guys, and one of the great voiceover guys. By the way,
Did he really? I didn't even know that.
He was known in the movie trailer and promo world as the best whisper read there is. The whisper read is something like "in a world," as opposed to the LaFontaine, who's "in a world," or Andy Geller, who's "in a world," you know, deep. I can't get down where Andy is. Andy is deeper than Brad Garrett. I once saw them talking at a recording studio. I was like, Jesus Christ, Andy's voice is deeper than Brad's.
These guys
Holy
talk.
moly.
Holy moly!
And Brad's got like 8 inches of height on him.
Yeah,
you know?
Brad is huge.
But so that was supposed to be a thing where Wells, you know, through an animated opening, brings in young George Clooney and introduces him to the whole Plus Ultra thing. And Miguel called me from the premiere, the world premiere at the El Capitan, and said, "Dude, you're so fantastic in the beginning of that thing. I met my cousin's movie." That's we always, whenever he talked about George, he said, "Yeah, I met my cousin's thing," or "I was out with my cousin." So, because Clooney's his cousin, you know.
That's right. Because
His father was Jose Ferrar, and George's mother was Rosemary Clooney.
That's right.
No, I'm sorry. No, sorry.
George's
I'm wrong.
aunt is Rosemary.
George's aunt is
That's
Rosemary
right.
Clooney,
Right.
and his father is Nick Clooney.
These are
Sorry,
these are
George.
people that aren't
These are
around
names.
anymore. These are
Yes,
names
exactly.
of people.
Of people who exist.
But Jose
and are
Ferrar from
class-
the Cane Mutiny.
Of
Come on,
course,
the Cane
brilliant,
Mutiny.
brilliant. So Miguel calls me and tells me it's great. You steal the picture, blah blah blah. But apparently, Brad thought it really halted the momentum of the picture. So it got taken out by the time it actually dropped. Went
In
to
theaters.
general
Oh,
release.
wow.
2 weeks later, he actually pulled that out.
Oh
It
my
did
God!
It was the
show.
original beginning
It
of the movie.
showed at the ArcLight Hollywood at every screening at the beginning, and also at the El Capitan. So I got to see it in
Oh,
theaters.
Where
great.
can I
Also-
where can I see this?
It's online right now on YouTube, and
Yeah.
I actually
And it's in the special features of the list.
I use it as my sophomore English speech. I
Oh, nice.
memorized the whole thing. I
Oh, wow.
love that
Okay,
so much.
should we test him?
It's
Should we
2D.
test him?
I don't remember.
You
Well,
probably
if
know
I
it
got
better
a-
than I do.
If I got a little bit of it, I could go on.
Do you know a
with
piece
it.
of it? You do a piece of it there, Maurice
It's
LaMarche?
one of those things that happen.
It's
You know,
just Orson
like
Welles.
people memorize Hamlet, and then after the production ends, 2 days later, they
Gone.
can't remember a thing. Not even
completely gone.
to be or not to be.
But
so.
the great thing about that sequence is your voice is amazing with it, with the music by Michael Giacchino and the 2D animation, which nothing has been 2D animated since. It's
And
like,
I gotta
it's
say,
awesome.
I saw the movie, and I really wish that sequence had been put
It's
back
really
in.
great.
I,
It's
you
really
know,
cool.
because I had high hopes for that movie. Good parts of it.
It's awesome.
Good parts of it. You know,
cool.
I could,
It's-
we could talk
the
about
idea
Tomorrowland.
of it's awesome.
We'll talk. It really was. I was like
And
real excited.
that part that you voiced encompasses the idea of Tomorrowland, which is
I'm
so
just I'm just sticking up for our guest Maurice LaMarche.
Yes.
I think he was robbed. I think you should have that thing back in there.
I
That's all I'm
still
saying.
get a little checky boo for the DVD because it's
Oh,
a
yeah?
special feature, so
Oh,
I
there
wasn't
you-
that
Nice.
wrong.
There you
Alright,
go.
alright.
All right. As long as you're in the special features, that's good.
That's it. That's it. Yes.
Now let's go back in time.
All right.
Back in time before Johnny Bravo. Because we have many people who listen to Speech Bubble, and they're young wannabe, they want to be stars, they want to be voice people, they want to be actors. How did you get to Hollywood? What brought you out here? Are you from here originally?
No, I'm from Toronto, Canada.
Toronto, Canada. That's
Yes.
why you asked me if I was Canadian.
Well, because before we got you pronounced
I said
Futurama.
I said Futurama.
Futurama.
Yeah.
And I said, "Are you Canadian?"
No, I'm from Michigan.
Well,
My mom's in
parts
the
of
band.
Michigan are north of Canada.
Yes, they are. They cer-
bizarre
No, I know, it's
geographic
Well, I listened to
twist.
I listened to CKLW when I was a kid.
Sure.
the radio station with Dick Purton.
Oh, wow.
Remember Dick Purton?
No, 'cause Dick Purton,
wow.
he must have been local Windsor, right?
He was. He was actually cut out at the beginning of Tomorrowland as well. It's one of those things.
I got the I got the local Timmins, which Timmins, Ontario, way north.
Okay, got it.
My father was actually some of my first memories were seeing my father on TV as a newscaster. My father was a newscaster
No way.
and did the weather and and the local bingo, the bingo 5-minute interstitial thing.
We should get bingo on here. We should do that.
Yeah, play bingo.
It would really help the audience, I think.
I used to go up and I remember going up and kissing the television when my dad would say bye-bye. And I'd go up and kiss the TV.
Oh, that's nice.
And I would ask him, why won't you kiss me back on the TV, Daddy?
Wait, I have a question for Jace. When you see me on YouTube, do you kiss your monitor?
My phone.
You kiss your phone when you see me? Because I'm kind of your dad.
every time. Yeah.
All I ask
He's your TV dad.
Yeah, television.
Sometimes you get closer to your TV family than your real
Wait a
family.
second, Marge. I can't wear a pink shirt to work. I'm not popular enough to be different. Okay, anyway. So you're from Canada. When did you get down to the States?
I got down to the States in 1980, June of 1980. The year was 1980. And
here's your long distance.
it's your long distance. We can't talk about somebody's dog dying. Okay, so anyway,
Casey
got
Kasem.
down here in June of 80. I made a little trip in March at the behest of my dear friend Howie Mandel, who just lives around the corner.
Mr. Howie Mandel.
Yeah. Anyway, Howie and I were pals. I was actually there for Howie's first night, the first night that Howie ever went up at Yuck Yuck's Comedy Club in Toronto. Howie's first night and Jim Carrey's first night. I was the veteran, if you can believe.
Oh, there you go.
And I've done the least.
Hey, look, I was on Growing Pains with Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. So out of those three, I'm the one that didn't, become the
No,
huge
you
actor.
only became a creator of a hit cartoon show.
Whatever.
Come on now, you're an auteur for
Well,
crying out
only
loud.
the voice of one of the most popular characters of all time. So
There you go.
Whatever.
Yes, for scale into half. Yes. Anyway,
We're rolling in dough,
but
Pinky.
we need to raise enough money to build yet another infundibulator. So I've raised my price to scale into half.
Absolutely.
And that's when the show was canceled. Anyway,
We'll be right back.
so Howie calls me up and says, Mo, wait, what? No.
With the hand,
No,
yeah.
come on, you got to move down. He doesn't do that anymore. Yeah, but that was like his character.
He used to have tons of hair. He had tons of hair.
Tons of hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he really did. He had a talk with me on the phone. He said, you got to come down here. You're only going to get so far in Toronto. This is the big enchilada, And so, I packed up everything and my dear first wife, Linda, rolled the dice with me and we came down here with, all of our savings, got ourselves a little apartment.
All your Canadian money.
All of my Canadian money.
Which didn't go very
Which
far.
at the time, I think, no, it was, there was like 5 minutes where actually Canadian money was worth more than that.
That's right.
Missed it by that much.
Would you believe? Yeah.
So we came down in 1980 and I just, planted my feet in North Hollywood.
Was it to be an actor?
To be stand-up comic.
Stand-up comic.
Stand-up was really my love.
Got it.
And stand-up is my lady. But,
Who's that? Who's he doing?
I
don't know.
Who's he doing?
I don't know who I was doing either.
He was doing Frank Sinatra.
Oh, okay.
You know Frank Sinatra?
I love Frank Sinatra.
Jace is going, Michael Bublé?
Yeah. Oh, I love Michael Bublé. He's great.
Is that
Yeah.
Harry Connick Jr.?
Yeah, he's cool.
Exactly.
Harry Connick Jr. is too old for him.
Yeah,
I know.
probably.
He has a talk show.
Yeah,
He has a
true,
talk
yes.
show.
It's called Harry.
What world do we live in, Maurice? Harry Connick has a talk show.
My wife went back to acting class for a little bit. My new wife.
You got a new wife?
Well,
How does that happen?
Linda and I.
How does that whole thing work, Maurice?
Linda and I only lasted a couple of years. We're still dear friends, but
took all of her money, moved down here.
She took all of her, and then she said, "I need all my money back."
I understand. All right.
So
Linda's here. Come on in, Linda.
Linda, we happen to have your ex-wife right here.
She is.
So Linda moved back to Canada. LA just wasn't working for her, and but I couldn't leave. I had to stay here. And
You had the bug, the acting bug.
I had to do it. So anyway, but Robin, my current wife, is in university right now, studying to become a psychologist. But just a couple of years prior to that, she thought she'd take one more swing at acting. She went to acting class, and she's in acting class with all these young actresses, and she references Cary Grant.
Oh, God.
And gets these blank looks from all these young
know who
actors
that
and
is.
No one
actresses.
knows who
Nobody knew who the hell Cary Grant was. It's like, Cary Grant. Good heavens. How can you not know who Cary Grant is?
I know him because he was, wasn't he on the Flintstones? They did like a Flintstones cartoon with him?
I think that might have been Dawes Butler doing
They
Grant.
did Tony Curtis.
Tony Curtis played himself.
Stony Curtis.
Stony Curtis.
Hey there. Hey, Fred. Hey, Wilma.
Hi, Wilma. Hi, Fred. You're really a marvelous actor, Fred. I want you to be in my movie, The Frogmouth. No, The Frogmouth was a different episode.
I think it was.
But Fred went into the movies every season.
Yeah, I know, exactly. But
You are the Frogmouth.
The Flintstones. Do you ever watch the Flintstones?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Flintstones was so great. It was a takeoff on the Honeymooners. It was the first primetime cartoon. Like primetime at night. And then when Wilma got pregnant with Pebbles, that was like a huge thing.
Yeah.
Huge deal.
And I wonder why usually they
why do we
write
digress?
the pregnancies into the show because the actress like Lucille Ball becomes pregnant. But if Jean Vanderpyle had gotten it's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon.
Why did they go with
How did Wilma get
what
pregnant?
is the deal with cartoon pregnancies?
So how did you go from stand-up to voice acting then? How did that switch go?
That was a happy accident. I actually had done a couple of cartoons in Canada. Again, both times as a result of being seen at a comedy club. In Canada, it was Yuck Yucks, and in here it was the Comedy Store. I was doing my act, and I did probably 40 impressions in a 10-minute set, and the first thing I ever did was for Nelvana Films. Remember them?
Oh yeah.
So I did.
They had a big part to play in Fairly Odd Parents at the very beginning.
Really?
They actually helped finance it, and then because Nickelodeon didn't believe in it, and then took off as a hit, and they bought it back from Nelvana.
Wow.
I didn't say Nelvana either. I said Nelvana.
Very good. Because they call it Nelvana. That's the strangest thing.
Darn,
They
I
call
keep
it
getting it
Nelvana
wrong.
Films. So
Jace.
so the good folks at Nelvana saw my act, and they were doing their second special was an Easter special called Easter Fever, and Garrett Morris was playing the Easter Bunny, and like half of Second City was in the special. I worked with Catherine O'Hara, John Candy, Joe Flaherty. They were all on this show.
So cool.
And it was a roast of the Easter Bunny because he's retiring, and they needed somebody to do a lot of celebrity voices.
That's
so
funny.
I was Don Rickles as Don Rattles, a rattlesnake.
Nice.
Were you born that silly anyway, gang? And Steed.
Bert is lonely.
Yeah.
That's good.
This guy in the front row here.
I never heard anybody do Don Rickles.
Yeah.
That's really good.
That's
So I did that, and I was 19, by the way, at this time. And Steed Martin.
Horse.
Steve Martin is a horse.
There we go. Okay.
I am one wild and crazy steed. That was my.
I have to leave for a
entry
second. I have to go
into
smack that writer in the face real quick.
Yeah, I know.
Steed, he's a horse.
Steed
Get
Martin.
it? There we go. Very funny.
So that was my entree into, and so I did that, and I did their second special about baseball, aliens playing baseball, and then I promptly moved here, and lost all that momentum with them. I had one voice in their feature, Rock and Rule, and I was supposed to play a bigger part, but I moved here, and they went, well, okay, I guess we'll get Howie Mandel because.
He's still up there.
Well, no, he'd actually gone back to do a movie, so he was making a movie, so he did my part in the movie.
So you can really call Howie right now and get him on this podcast. He would show up on the podcast.
Right this very second.
You don't have to do that. It's all about you today.
All right. He made his bones in children's television.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
He was Bobby's World.
This is whole other character. It's his entire other career was producing, starring, and writing Bobby's World. Yeah. And it was the biggest, to this day, says the biggest thing he's ever done.
Really?
In terms of Over Deal or No Deal?
I
think so. Because, and I hate to discuss,
other people
else's business.
Yeah.
But I think he'd be the first to admit that he and Matt Groening had the good fortune to be jumping on the Fox network bandwagon where they needed them more than he needed Fox.
Yeah.
So he and Matt had these huge ownership deals.
Yeah. How about that?
So he's got a giant chunk of the show. He practically,
That's pretty cool.
And it's still in syndication all over the world.
Bobby's World. Nice.
Yeah.
So basically he could buy and sell this dump. He could really. He could really buy.
He could.
By the way, I just noticed that we're filming Speech Bubble. I have my I voted sticker on my shirt
there you
here.
go.
Look at that. So we
So
voted.
it dates us. It dates us. It dates the podcast.
Today's
and yet
election
it doesn't.
day.
It does. It does. It always takes place sometime.
Now,
in the
can you
past.
vote because you're Canadian? Can you vote here in the States?
I cannot vote I cannot vote here, and I cannot vote there. I'm a man without a vote.
Really, man.
This is actually Donald Sutherland's big cause celeb, because like me, he's a Canadian citizen living here, but Canada doesn't allow for absentee voting. Really? So I haven't voted in an election since 1980.
You have to live in Canada to vote
You
there.
must live in Canada.
Oh my goodness.
More than half the year to vote in a Canadian election. And since I'm not a citizen here yet, I'm finally considering doing it in this election cycle.
Should we expect the cops to be showing up at any moment to arrest?
Right, exactly.
Are they on your tail? Hot on your tail?
So yeah, but I think I might get it done by the next presidential election.
Very nice. Yeah. Well, hey, listen. So
now let's get back to you.
Get back to Maurice LaMarche.
Off of Donald Sutherland.
So you're doing
Donald. I had a run-in with Donald Sutherland once.
Oh, let's hear it. What happened?
I used to be a voracious cigar smoker, and thank God I've given it up for over 11 years. But I used to smoke 5 cigars
What
a day.
does voracious mean?
Like crazy.
Like crazy.
I'm a crazy cigar smoker. I
I
devoured them voraciously.
Exactly. Yes.
So I
like
used
to
to
teach
have this
Jace words here.
terrible. It's a terrible, awful habit. I have no problem with a guy smoking a cigar at a wedding or whatever.
J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man, he smokes cigars.
Wallop and web snappers.
Parker, where's that Spider-Man?
Parker. I love it.
Get me. It was J.T. Walsh or J. What was the guy's name?
Oh, that one.
J.D.
Yeah,
Walsh.
I'm going back to.
The voice actor?
I'm going back to the voice actor in the 1966
Oh my gosh!
cartoon.
Parker.
I think that was Danny Mann's father.
I hate Spider-Man.
Yeah. Paul Soles, the voice of Spider-Man, was the very first voice actor I ever met.
I love that guy.
He looked like a little accountant.
Did he really?
Yes, all great voice actors look like little accountants. Mel Blanc looked like a little accountant.
Mel Blanc is people adore him, and as well they should. He was amazing. I mean,
Yes.
it's truly amazing.
Absolutely. I did an industrial show for British United Automobiles in 1978 in Canada. Mm-hmm. And Paul and I we were doing sketches and a couple of musical numbers with a couple of actresses. But at one point I just said, so what else have you done? And I know I've seen you on Canadian TV. And he goes, well, I was probably the thing you know me best for is I was the voice of Spider-Man back in the 60s.
That is so.
I said, no way. And he goes, because he doesn't talk like that. And then he dropped his voice down and took on this heroic thing. And he goes, wallopin' web snappers. It's time for me to web up the Green Goblin. And I was like, holy moly, it's you. So when I see people's jaws drop when I do the brain at a Comic-Con, I go, I've been where you are.
Cool.
I absolutely understand. It's a magical thing to hear a cartoon voice come out of a human being.
It used to blow me away when I would see a film of Dawes Butler doing Yogi Bear, hey, boo, boo.
Hey.
And it would blow my mind. I'm like, that's not the cartoon. It's a man saying it. I don't understand.
I know. I did Dawes' second to last Captain Crunch commercial with him. And he was there. And
he was Captain Crunch.
He was Captain Crunch from way back. In fact,
that's right.
That voice was on the Rocky and Bullwinkle show. He was always just that. It was that, country club guy. Don't do that. She goes, I'm going to turn your daughter into a frog. June is the witch. She goes, oh, don't do that. Turn her into something I can use, like a Mercedes.
Oh, that's right. The Fractured Fairy Tales.
Fractured Fairy Tales, yeah.
Right.
So that voice, Dawes told me that was his Captain Crunch voice. So, he just kind of gave him a little more energy and a little more likability, and that was Captain Crunch. The toasted oat cereal, it stays sweet and milk.
Dude, that's perfect. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Round of applause. We have applause is happening.
Yeah. And meanwhile, I'm officially Toucan Sam for the other side. So
Can we hear
Kellogg's, you didn't see that.
Can we hear that? Can we hear Toucan Sam?
Follow your nose, it always knows. Kellogg's Fruit Loop cereal with natural orange, lemon, and cherry
Oh my
flavors.
God, I love this. I love this.
I've been Toucan Sam since before you were born.
Yeah,
I know, yeah.
knew it right
1987.
away.
I've actually had the
Crazy.
job longer than Paul Frees.
No way.
Who was the second Toucan Sam.
Who was the first one?
Mel Blanc did one commercial.
Did he really?
And he did it in the kind of Barney Rubble, the early Barney Rubble voice.
Hey, Fred, sort of, hey.
Well, no, he did two voices for Barney. I
remember Barney was
the second one was like this. Hey, Fred, I don't think one was going to like this.
That was like...
Right? He came up into the nose, behind the nose, and he dropped it down. That was after the accident. But before the accident, Eric, I don't know, Fred. I don't know if Wilma's going to like this. Maybe Betty will get us in trouble.
Before the accident?
He had a major car accident.
Oh, he did?
Oh, my gosh, yes.
I didn't even know that.
On Sunset Boulevard. I think it was in Dead Man's Turn.
Mel
actually.
Blanc?
He was in a coma for several weeks.
I feel bad. I did not even know.
I actually narrated the documentary that Warner Brothers did on him called Man of a Thousand Voices.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I only had heard a little bit about it, but he was in a coma for several days.
Wow.
And the doctor brought him out by, because they had this theory that even in a coma you sort of, have an ear on what's going on out there. So he goes, and he said, apparently nobody could bring him out, and the doctor leaned and said, Mel, I want to talk to Bugs. And Mel's eyes flooded and went, what's up, Doc?
No way.
Yeah, and that's what brought him out of the coma.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
So, but before that accident, Mel did that voice, the one that...
I don't know, Fred.
I don't know, Fred. And that's the voice he used for Oot Frey Oopsley. You can find it all this stuff on YouTube.
Where's Bim Bim?
Bim Bim, I don't know. Funny, he had super strength when he was a kid, but when they made the grown-up, the TV show of them as young teenagers, he had no powers anymore.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
It used to bug me. It's like, well, where's the super strength?
Yeah, he was a little
Why
kid.
isn't he getting them out of the jam with super strength? What is the deal with that?
Grape nuts, no grapes, no nuts.
There's no grapes, there's no nuts.
What's the deal?
Apartments, Why are they called apartments? They're not apart. They're together. They should be called togetherments.
I didn't hear that one.
I don't think it's one of his. I think
That's
it's one
pretty
of
funny.
I think it's one of Gilbert's.
Ovaltine. The can is round. The mug is round. It should be called Roundtine.
Roundtine. It's not oval, and teens won't drink it.
That's gold, Jerry. That's gold.
Write it down.
Oh, it's gold, Jerry.
Oh, it's gold, Jerry. So okay, you're in the 80s.
I'm in the 80s.
I'm trying.
I'm in my 60s.
I'm
love
in
the
your
sidetracks,
80s.
though.
No, but you're
Back in the
working in the
1980s.
1980s,
Yes.
right? You're wearing the Miami Vice clothes. You're
I
looking
sneak
like
down here.
right.
I'm actually, I'm actually under the radar for about 4 years before then I got a cartoon gig.
Before they
Again,
found you.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. Before they found me, I was very lucky that and I'll give full credit, even though I'm not with the agency anymore. Nina Nissenholtz, who was the sole voiceover agent of the William Morris Agency in 1984, saw me in the audience at the Comedy Store. I was with William Morris for personal appearances, and I was already starting to tour with big acts like Rodney Dangerfield and
Hey, I'll get no
I'll
respect.
tell you, I'm
you know?
all right now, but last week I was in rough shape. I mean, okay.
Hey, I don't get no respect.
No respect at all. Are you kidding me? So, but I used to tour, with a lot of their acts, and Aaron Cohen, dear departed Aaron Cohen, he was that agent who just believed in me so much.
Wow.
And unfortunately, he passed away of AIDS. But he brought Nina Nissenholtz down to see me, and she came up to me after the show and said, with all the voices you do, you could definitely do voiceover. You could do animation. All you have to do is blend impressions, so you come out with a totally new sound. So she sent me out on auditions about every week for a year.
Wow.
I didn't book a damn thing.
Wow.
But the good news was, I didn't consider myself a voice actor then. I was a stand-up comic who was just, trying to. This lady was trying to help me, so I'm going to do my best and show up. And then finally, I got one little thing. I got an episode of The Littles where I worked with Ebb and Mr. Kimball from Green Acres. Those two actors were on.
Well, it's a nice day. Well, it's not a nice day.
It's not really a nice day.
That guy, what was his name? The Alvy Morse?
Alvy Moore.
Alvy Moore, yeah.
Alvy
What a
Moore.
great guy.
He was
So
He was
funny.
terrific. And the guy who played Ebb, I can't remember his name, but he was terrific.
Hey,
too.
Mr. Douglas.
Yeah, he was wonderful. I mean, it was like
These are old
wanted to
references,
have
people.
a stupid off between him and Jethro, But so
Old references, Jace.
Oh, I know,
That's
Beverly
all right.
Hillbillies.
from
I
the
got it.
Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, of course.
Oh, he's
Jace, you
I
really
got it.
bad,
I'm
Jace.
you're batting 500.
Not doing bad.
60s references.
Yo,
I'm
what
very
up,
impressed.
Love here.
So anyway, I booked that, and I booked a Wolfman Jack cartoon, one episode, and then I got Gadget playing the chief, and
Inspector Gadget.
Yes. So Deke Enterprises actually sponsored me for a green card, or for a series of work permits.
A green card, which is not actually green.
No,
They
unfortunate.
It's
they're
not
pink,
green.
and they're actually back to being green. I just got my latest one, and it's actually green.
Is it green?
Yes, it's
The
finally
green card's not green.
Yeah, it's green.
What's the deal?
I don't understand.
The green room's not green
No,
either.
it's not.
It's all kinds of
However,
things.
this is green.
It's
and I'm
coming
trying
out
to
of my
get-
nose.
Oh my god! It's just this tickle that I'm going. There's got to be a
Jace, get in.
You're good, you're good.
Jace, get in his nose. Get whatever. Get inside there, Jace.
So, by the way, isn't this attractive for the cameras?
I think it looks great. You
Yeah.
look fantastic.
I think it's Sweat Watch 2018.
What we can do, we can
Let's
take-
see what the sweat becomes. If I really get a good sweat going, it actually looks like Mickey Mouse.
Oh, there we go.
These become the ears.
Nice.
And this becomes. It's like I get this sort of.
So you're saying you're a girl magnet, basically.
I'm a chick magnet, and I also have the stigmata of Mickey Mouse on my.
It's Mickey's 90th
It's a sweat
birthday.
The
stigmata.
stigmata.
For just some time.
Yes, I'm celebrating another mouse's birthday.
How dare you mention that mouse?
How
to me.
dare you? Yes, he's taken over the world, not me. Damn him.
When did that? When did you land that part? It was animated.
That would have been 1985. And so that's when I stopped. That's when I actually became legal. No,
Wait,
yeah.
85 was Animaniacs? I thought it was like
no.
Okay.
Gadget.
85 was Gadget.
And
right.
Gadget and then right into Ghostbusters, and we did like
Which
116 episodes.
Ghostbusters?
The
There were
real
two of
The
them.
real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Is that the Bill Murray based cartoon?
Yes.
Okay,
I
got
played
it,
Egon.
got it.
I was Dr. Egon Spengler.
Got it.
I collect spores, mold, and fungus. And actually, next year is going to be the 30th anniversary of
Wow. The cartoon.
of the cartoon.
Wow.
No, of the movie.
Egon.
Yeah.
This reminds me of the
No, the
time.
movie, yeah.
No, the movie was in '84, so it's.
Oh,
gotta
the
be
25th anniversary. I know they're
Okay.
planning to do some stuff.
Okay.
There's some stuff.
Egon. This reminds me of the time you tried to drill a hole through your head.
That would have worked if you hadn't stopped me.
Great Harold Ramis.
There you go.
Who wrote Groundhog Day. Come on.
Oh my God, such a brilliant film.
I just watched.
I'm a huge Harold fan, and he's the
love
only
Harold
Ghostbuster
Ramis.
I didn't get to meet.
Really?
I did get to meet Danny at, strangely enough, at Sam Kinnison's funeral. And
You met
Ernie. I've done a lot
Ernie
of
Hudson?
Comic-Cons with Ernie.
Right.
Bill Murray, I pranked with the cast of DC Follies. We had a perfect Rodney Dangerfield puppet. So while they're on their dinner break filming Scrooged, we went over and we just went right up beside him with the Rodney puppet. Hey man, how you doing, man? You got any pot?
Was Bill Murray a good sport?
He laughed. He thought it was great. Oh, this is fantastic. So it was great.
Nobody does a Bill Murray. That's good. That's
Yeah,
very good.
yeah. Well, no, Coulier does a great Bill Murray.
I just do Bill Murray from Caddyshack.
Yeah,
It's
that one's easy.
Cinderella boy.
That's kind of my. That was the voice I talked to my son in through half his childhood.
That's everybody's go-to. Everyone can do that.
He's got this guy, and then finally the kid starts rolling his eyes. You go, all right. I went from amusing to lame.
So
in
then you
5
land
seconds
the
flat.
big part, the Pinky and the Brain thing. You land the
Pinky
part
and the Brain
of the
came
brain.
along in
92?
1992.
Yep.
Prior to that was Tiny Toons, which was Steven Spielberg's foray into doing daytime animation and wanting it to be funny. He said, sort of like Disney's the happiest place on earth. We want to be the funniest place on earth. Okay. He wanted to bring back the funny cartoons.
I always see his name attached to it, but how involved is he with the cartoons?
I doubt he's.
I was
involved
given
at
to
all.
understand he actually had approval on every script.
Wow.
Did he really?
Gene McCurdy said that he literally read every script.
Well, there you go.
And signed off on everything. And she told me she had a business meeting with him once over at Universal, and he had the models. This was before they were toys. The actual models, for drawing the 3D models. Yeah, maquettes. Thank you. And he had Pinky and the Brain on his desk. And there was like a little lull in the conversation. I don't know if I should be telling this story, but Gene said it was like so surreal. Here she is with the greatest movie director and producer of our time. And there was a tiny little lull in the conversation. He just picks up the maquette and goes, Pinky and the Brain, Pinky and the Brain. I love these guys.
Wow.
Yeah, she turns to me, I love these guys.
Look at
And
that.
I was like, wow.
Look at that. Very nice.
I can ask for scale in half now.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
one is a genius.
the other's insane.
There
The
we go.
laboratory mice. I think we have to give Warner Brothers money if we see any more.
So how'd you land the role in the first place?
They had auditions, as they do for everything. And because we were in the Tiny Toons family, they gave us first crack. And I actually had I don't know why they did this, because I'm one of my things that I'm really trying to conquer at 30 years in the business. I'm perpetually 5 minutes late for everything.
You were late today.
Was it?
You were 5 minutes late.
Was I 5 minutes late
You were
today?
5 minutes late today. I was looking at my watch going, he's not here. Then you came in at 10:05.
He's not here because I got off one exit before.
There you go.
I thought the exit before, they have
But I'm
very
just glad-
similar names.
I'm just glad you showed up.
I was glad to
5
do
Well,
minutes
he
later,
shows up 5 minutes late for Steven Spielberg, 5 minutes late for you.
So you're saying we're
it.
equal?
No, it's the
I'm
one
equal?
thing I was actually spot on
were?
time for.
Oh, there
I
you
had
go.
the 9 a.m. audition. I
Wow.
was so nervous to be late that I actually showed up a half hour early and just sat in my car. And they didn't give us any materials, but I walked in and I was the first person, and they gave me the picture of the mouse. And I saw Orson Welles on that face.
I was going to say, did they give you any direction or no? You just thought of it. Wow,
Said
how
he's
about that?
megalomaniacal.
Right.
I had to learn that word for the audition.
Another big word, Jace.
And
big word.
he's a megalomaniacal lab mouse bent on taking over the world, and there's his face, and that's how he stands. And I just looked at him and went, well, it's Orson Welles.
That's cool.
They've
amazing.
drawn an Orson Welles lab mouse for me.
That's amazing.
They've created this character just for me because they know. See, I had gotten the famous Frozen Peas outtake tape, of Orson doing the Frozen Peas commercial
Right.
for England, where he just has
Does he have a meltdown?
plays with these guys like a cat batting around a mouse. Yeah, I mean, he's like at one point he said, I'm trying to think of a clean part to tell you because it does get.
Let's keep it as clean as we can.
He goes. He says. He ends it by going, now what is it you want in your depths of your ignorance? What is it you want? Whatever it is you want, I can't deliver because I just don't see it. And the guy director comes in and goes, oh, no, that was absolutely fine. It really was. It isn't worth it. No money is worth this. And then he gets up and leaves. That's the climax of it.
Oh
but I
my
had the
God.
whole 5-minute outtake session memorized.
The poor director. I feel terrible for that guy.
Oh, yeah. And but as you listen to it, you sort of go, Wells is right, because they're micromanaging his syllables. And when there's two directors, and one of them goes, "Could you emphasize a bit in?" in July. Why? That doesn't make any sense. Sorry, there's no known way of saying an English sentence in which you begin a sentence within and emphasize it. Get me a jury and show me how you can go in July, and I'll. So.
That reminds me of the William Shatner meltdown.
There
was a Shatner meltdown.
And the more you listen to that, you go, well, I guess Shatner's kind of right. Initially, you side with the guy behind the glass, but you go, how do you tell William Shatner to do anything that isn't William Shatner? Just you're buying William Shatner.
Yeah.
Just whatever he does.
You do 3 takes and
Wells,
get
yeah,
there.
exactly. Wells had a thing that he told Wally Burr, God rest his soul. He said Burr attempted to direct him for the Transformers movie and give his motivation. He said, "Excuse me, Wally, may I just interrupt you for a second? Faster, slower, louder, softer. That's the only direction I take. Let's go now." And so that's it. But when you're buying a celebrity's voice,
Yes,
like that,
of course.
that's the only thing. Okay, we need it in 30 seconds, Bill. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of on Shatner's side, even though he was vicious to this one
he was-
poor fella.
I'm William Shatner. I want you to join me can you do this? Well, you tell me how to do it.
Do it for me, and hopefully you'll send it back to town. It'll be what they want. Mr. Shatner, I think I shouldn't have kept my mouth shut. No, because if your mouth were closed, you'd have popped some pills in it. Now, do page 2 for me. And he just rakes this guy over the coals, and Wells breaks the 2 directors over the coals. But I was so known for doing that, if there was ever a lull, that I just, in my hubris, thought, well, they've drawn me an Orson Welles lab mouse.
That's so cool.
And so I just did Orson Welles, and Andrea Romano told me that at that moment, they cast the brain.
Yeah.
Wow.
They didn't let anybody else read for it all day long, and people were asking to read for it. He said, no, we already have our brain. We need to find Pinky now.
That's awesome.
And by the end of the first day, Pinky, the best Pinky they had was our dear friend John Aston.
John Aston.
TV's Gomez from the Addams Family.
No,
now
you're kidding.
a professor of drama at Johns Hopkins University.
He's still around, John.
John is
Aston.
going strong. I talk to him every year. We have the same birth date, March 30th. I'm 1958. He's a couple of years older than
No,
me.
wait. So he wasn't born in 1958. John
No.
Aston.
I have another friend, my dear friend Bud Grimmie, father of Christina Grimmie, who was also a dear friend of mine. Was my son's best female friend, the singer from The Voice, who sadly was killed by a crazed fan.
Bud
and I were born on the exact same day.
Wow.
Yeah, Bud is
So
one of my
but John
dear friends.
Aston is the grandfather of Sean Aston?
Sean's father.
He's Sean's father.
Sean's
Okay,
father,
that's
yeah,
right,
and
because
Mackenzie's father.
Because Patty Duke Aston.
Patty Duke
is
was his wife. was his
What's
wife.
John from?
John Aston?
Yeah.
From the Addams
Addams
Family
Family,
TV series.
I'm Dickens, he's Fenster.
Oh, okay.
And Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, which is where I met him, and that's where I met Rob. I met Rob Paulson and John Aston on a little known show called Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
I mean, there was a movie in the 70s.
There
that
was,
came out,
and
right?
John reprised his part for the cartoon show.
Oh, that's fun.
And the nicest, sweetest guy in the world. So every year on March 30th, one of us calls the other, and to this day. And so he was
So next March 30th, you come in here.
I
Yeah.
You've already
recall.
texted Howie Mandel.
I texted Howie Mandel. Let's see how we're doing on the Howie
and
Mandel.
we'll have John
thing.
Aston call in. Did Howie text back?
New York.
He's in New
He's in
York.
New York.
Oh, darn it. Well, that's awesome. So, I've cast voices like that as well. There'll be like a line of 30 people outside. First person walks in, and you're like, oh, that's it. I can't even imagine it a different way.
Right.
Rob actually did that on Fairly Odd Parents. We had a character, Mark the Alien. Hey, bro! Like this, we had an alien character.
Right.
I thought we were going to do like an alien voice or something. And Rob comes in, does a surfer. We're like, that's the guy. That's him.
That's the guy.
And I had to sit through 30 other guys, but Rob was it.
Well, sometimes the first thing you hear is the best thing, and sometimes it's just the first thing you hear. I guess I would hate to cast anything. I made one lame attempt at creating a show back in the '90s, and it never went anywhere. But I thought, I'm going to have to listen to hundreds of voices and try and figure out.
Well, then the worst
and then I
part
went,
is,
screw it, I'll just do all.
And the
the
worst part is you have friends. They're like, hey, you're gonna have me in your show, and you're like, well, you're my friend. And if I put you in and you're not good, then I have to replace you. Then you won't be my friend anymore. It's very, very tricky.
I bet it is. I bet it's
like replacing Jace, which I'm going to do after.
Yeah,
this
of
podcast.
course.
It's very sad.
Just click a button and I fall out of the chair.
There's a huge line of Jason.
Yeah,
that's true.
They're all Jason-alikes out
I'm going to
there.
get Woody Allen. He'll be my
Tremendous.
co-host.
Oh, no.
Happen to have Marsha McLuhan right here, which might be the single greatest moment in any Woody Allen
Which
film.
movie was that?
That was Annie Hall.
Oh, Annie Hall.
Remember
right.
when they go to the review movie theater, the small movie theater, and the guy in front is weighing in on Marshall McLuhan, and Woody turns to the camera and goes, I wish I happened to have Marshall McLuhan right here.
He was right there.
And then pulls him out from behind a pillar and goes, you know nothing of my work. You're a pompous blowhard. And a brilliant moment. And again, very proud of that moment because Marshall McLuhan from Toronto.
There we go. Yes. And we don't even know if he can vote. Who knows?
He probably
can. Howie vote?
Can
Howie vote?
Dead. Howie became an American citizen.
Howie's an American citizen.
My mentor, my puller downer into the United States.
Your leader,
friend, my leader.
Your leader,
my trusted chum.
Yes.
He became a citizen. I think about two election cycles ago.
Very nice.
Yes.
Very nice. It's a lengthy process, I hear.
I don't know because I'll tell you my selfish motivation for not pulling the trigger on it. While I would love to vote, I totally love having the only reasonable and foolproof excuse for getting out of jury duty.
Nice.
All I have to do, the first question on that voicemail tree that they, please, if you are, please press the following, but 1 for yes, 2 for no. Are you a citizen of the United States? 2 for no. Sorry, you can't serve on a jury. I talked to that auditor. He was going, don't be sorry. Thanks.
Click.
I'd never want to spend a day down there.
I wonder who did the voice for that recording.
I don't know, but I hope they got
It's
scheduled
actually
to have.
me. I don't know if you guys knew that.
So
That's
now the latest stuff you've been doing on Futurama.
Well, we could keep going.
Apart from dodging jury
Let's
duty.
go Animaniacs.
So Animaniacs.
Right.
So I not only book the brain, I also book the pigeons, the good feathers.
Yes.
The Ray Liotta pigeon. Coincidentally, I was next to Ray Liotta in a restaurant, a little lovely place in Sherman Oaks called Mistral, and I think he was on his first date with his current wife. But he was at the next table, and that was back in the days when you could smoke in restaurants. Right. So my wife and I are, at a two-top, and he's right next to us. And after our meal is finished, he very politely leans and says, "Excuse me, if you guys are finished, do you mind if we light up?" And I said, "No, man, go ahead. Thanks for waiting. Really appreciate it. I smoke cigars personally." And so, so we actually end up chatting and we push our tables together and spend the rest of the evening talking with each other.
Wow.
He's a supremely nice guy.
Wow.
So
he's a little scary. Ray Liotta's could be scary if you want.
He can be scary, but in a restaurant, he's the nicest guy in the world. So polite. So he's almost Canadian how polite he was.
Do you guys mind if we light up?
Yeah, light up. So we're chatting and so I had his real voice in my ears. See, sometimes I can't hear it through the TV, but if I get in a room with somebody, interesting, I can hear it. And so I had him in my ears. So I got the Ray Liotta part in the
amazing.
Films. The other time that happened was, you won't remember this. Do you remember Bill Bixby? God rest his
of course
soul?
I do. Yeah.
Have I said God rest his soul enough?
You said it 4 or 5 times. Yes.
A lot of dead people I've talked about.
Yeah, you have.
I did a pilot for a show that never went called The Book of Lists. It was going to be one of those like real people kind of things where they just did sketches based on the Book of Lists.
Yep, got it.
And it was Bill Bixby and the gal who played Private Benjamin on the TV show.
Oh, it wasn't Goldie Hawn. It was
the girl from the TV show.
Oh, okay.
Lorna something. I
have to look that up.
Yeah.
No,
so, but I loved.
Was
she
the beginning of Tomorrowland? That's all I want to know.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I loved the Hulk when I was growing up.
Oh yeah, of course.
And when I was a little kid, my parents divorced. Courtship of Eddie's Father was on TV.
Absolutely.
And I was like,
people, let me tell you.
I love, and I thought, I remember thinking, my dad is like Bill Bixby. I see him once every 2 weeks and we walk along a beach, but I was so identified with Bill Bixby.
He's getting
like
very
a father
sad.
figure.
Come
on. Do you know any performer who hasn't had a sad life?
It's like superheroes. They become heroes because they have a sad beginning.
Of course, yeah. And then my favorite Martian when I was a little kid. So Bill Bixby was in my
he was in everything. He was all over the place.
He was great. So I could never do his voice until I did that show, and then I finally heard it, and I was like,
I want to hear
Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Right?
That's perfect. Yes.
Bill Bixby.
That's amazing.
Who else does Bill Bixby?
Nobody does.
Boom!
Who else has sweat stains like this?
Look at that.
I'm the hottest actor you'll ever
I was
meet.
going to say, what shape are they taking now, the sweat stains? It's sort of like, it's I see 2 countries. It's like countries.
United States, Canada, Mexico. No, that's Rob Paulson's brother.
He did that on the Big Speech Bubble. He was here.
I bet he did.
He was. Now, so
try getting him to not do it.
Oh my God, I know. That's the hard part. So you do Pinky in the Brain for 30 years? How long did you do this?
Pinky in the Brain and Animaniacs. Well, for Animaniacs, cumulatively Pinky in the Brain and Animaniacs, because Pinky in the Brain broke off and became its own thing.
It did, that's right.
In prime time.
Yeah.
We got to say damn and hell.
No, you didn't.
Yes, we said damn and hell.
Wow.
On the show. And we went up against, in a brilliant programming move, 60 Minutes.
Oh, God.
We were the flagship show on Sunday night, 7 o'clock, up against 60 Minutes.
Perfect. Well, kids wouldn't be watching 60 Minutes.
That was the thing.
That was the thinking.
You know,
I should run a
the
network.
Parents controlled the TV.
Of course, got it.
Our ratings were abysmal, but people, those that stuck with the show loved it. And each episode was a half hour long, and then we got our afternoon show. So we were on the air about 8 years with that.
Amazing.
92 to 99.
And you are swamped at every Comic-Con you go to. People just they
is
know
that
who
the
you
one
are.
voice people like the main one?
I need to keep the largest stack has to be of Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah.
I want to take over the world, Pinky.
To take over the world.
I can't. Yours is
You're trying to take over my part, Butch.
Yours is spot on. Mine's Butch Hartman attempting to do Maurice LaMarche's voice. So Pinky the Brain, and then what? Now that's everything stops in Hollywood. Things come to an end here and there. So what happens after that? Like directly after Pinky the Brain?
Directly after Pinky and the Brain, I spiraled into a deep depression. No, I'm kidding.
I was believing you.
I literally concurrently I was doing Futurama alongside
Rama.
Futurama.
Rama. Got it.
Yes,
got
Rama.
it.
Let's go for some ramen. Let's go for some ramen after this, shall we?
With both of those
In
shows,
my van.
I feel like with most cartoons, it's like you don't know if it's going to be a hit or not. But you have Animaniacs with Steven Spielberg, you have Futurama with Matt Groening.
Yeah.
So you have huge names. Did you know right away, like, oh, these are going to be big, no big deal?
My wife knew.
Okay.
We went to the screening. We did the screening of the first episode of Futurama was at Griffith Observatory. So we watched it projected onto the dome. And I wasn't in the pilot. I didn't get cast till episode 2. So
And what character you play on Futurama?
I play I have about a dozen characters that are regulars. And somebody who had a lot more time on his hands than me actually did a webpage of the voices of Futurama. I have the second most voices, including one-offs and mere recurrings, as well as regulars. Tress is actually the actor that has the most characters. I had 72. Tress has done 74.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. But the main characters.
How do we fix this? How do we get you past Tress? How do we make this
I don't want to
happen?
be past Tress. I think Tress is, to me, the gold standards of voice actors. And I do say actors without any kind of, gender derivation on the end of it, actress, whatever. I don't make a separation because there are female actors who can play men. There are male actors who can play women. And that's the beauty of animation is anybody can morph into anything.
That's
to
right.
me, Tress is up here. I mean, it's like we all need, to go there. There we go. We need to be.
So
as
we
good
should
as
title
her.
this episode. We should have had Tress instead of Maurice.
That's right.
But
Absolutely.
no,
Except try to get Tress out. Do something. She likes to stay home. But Tress is amazing, and everything she does. Tress and Dave Herman. The rest of us on Futurama and on Disenchantment say Dave Herman and Tress. They literally vibrate at funny.
Wow, yeah.
They oscillate at that specific frequency of funny.
It makes it so much better when you have a script that you think the script is funny, but then when the actor can add onto it,
Oh my
just
God.
is such a
and the
treat.
timing on both those people is amazing.
So would you guys record in a group for Futurama?
We try to,
Cool.
as much as possible. I mean, the feeling was, there's a give take among the actors.
Definitely.
So we did
Pinky, there's a give take, Pinky. You see,
Well, Pinky and the Brain, we always recorded together too. They really felt that, we needed the interplay between Rob and me. So if Rob had a cold, we just pushed till the next week.
And when did Rob come in, like directly after you? Rob was cast like the same
Rob
week?
was cast the next day because I never finished that story.
Yeah.
John Aston was the front runner until Rob read as Pinky, and I think he would have made an interesting Pinky. Because
what did John Aston do for Pinky? What was his
John?
voice?
I don't know. I would imagine that he would have been like the
John Aston.
He would have gone,
Narf.
Gee, Brain, what are we going to do tonight? The same thing we do every night, Gomez. Try to take over the world. Narf. Well, okay then, Brain.
Tish, speak French.
Because he had a great character on Tasmania, which was another show that was out of Warner Brothers, but the one that didn't have the Spielberg stamp on it. And he played a villain named Bull Gator, who was a hunter who was trying to hunt down the Tasmanian devil. Rob was his partner, but he was a cheerful villain.
Right.
Like he was drawn with a smile, even as he was talking about killing.
Right.
Tasmanian.
Well, here we go.
Here we go. Axel, hand me my rifle, Axel. It's time to kill that Tasmanian devil. And I just thought, what a brilliant thing to play him like upbeat. Nothing, whatever happens to him, he's just, he gets
Everything's
squashed.
awesome. So Futurama, and then that's currently still going, Futurama?
Well, you can watch Futurama. I believe it's on Sci-Fi.
But not any more new ones happening?
No,
The most recent one you guys did was the podcast.
we
on
did
Nerdist,
a
which was
radio
awesome.
episode.
Yeah, it was
which
awesome.
was actually something that Chris Hardwick came up with.
Cool.
He said he'd love to see it. He didn't want Futurama to die. He was such a huge fan. He did our final episode. We did a live stream during the airing of the final episode. And so, about a year later, he comes up to Matt Groening and David Cohen. We were doing this thing called Outtake-orama. John DiMaggio, Billy West, David Cohen, and myself. We put on the celebrity outtakes like the Orson Welles thing or the William Shatner thing. We do it at the Improv.
Oh, that's cool.
And so Chris is in the audience, and he pitched it to them right there in the green room, which wasn't green. And
Come on.
and they said, "Let's do this thing." So they wrote an episode that was audio only.
That's killer.
And
Yeah.
we did it like a radio play.
That's cool.
And it was brilliant. It was genius.
And it's known for being canceled many times, right?
Yes.
show.
And I still think we have one more cancellation
Yeah.
in this. We have to do it before Billy West is 80 years old. Because God bless him. I mean, he's like, I think 63 or 64.
That's almost
He still sounds-
that's almost 80.
Sounds like Fry.
He's still, okay, listen, we're getting 2 more cancellations and we're there. Because we run for 3 years, cancel for 4,
Yeah.
But
Well, Billy's an amazing guitar player.
Billy's
too.
an amazing guitar player, but he still has his high end. Voice doesn't crack.
He does, yeah.
I'm getting a little gravelly now that I've hit the big 6-0. My Orson Welles is getting better.
I think you sound very, very
Cool.
sexy.
My
man.
whisper reed is getting better as well.
Oh, that's ooh.
In
see?
a world where one man
That's a podcast.
gets all the voiceover work.
So you and Rob are super good pals.
We
Rob,
are in real life.
amazing Rob Paulson.
It was. I mean, it was instant bromance as soon as we met on Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I threw out one reference, or he did. I can't remember, to the Derek and Clive, the filthy Derek and Clive tapes that Peter Cook and Dudley Moore did when they were smashed.
And you both understood.
And
completely.
he finished it, and was like, I looked over and went, you know the Derek and Clive tapes? I go, yeah. So every time we still to this day just try to crack each other up with doing obscure lines from the Derek and Clive tapes.
What was it? Rob always does like George Takei having a party.
Oh my!
I was at my house last night with then he like says like some obscure 70s TV star like I was at my house last night with Angie Dickinson.
Angie Dickinson.
Just funny.
Yes.
Yeah, Rob did.
George Peppard was there.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, well, so what now? Are you allowed to talk about anything that's coming up in your career right now? Are you sworn to secrecy? Don't get in trouble here.
Yeah.
Although I'd love you to get in trouble, but you don't have to.
Disenchantment, I can talk
That's
about.
on Netflix.
And it's currently on Netflix, and we just got to pick up for 2 more seasons of 10, which we will do, back to back. So 20 more episodes.
Fantastic!
For
Congratulations.
us. My accountant is very happy about that.
Yes.
And there may be a big announcement coming down the pike.
We
sometime
can't
soon
talk about
we cannot
that
talk
yet. But
about it.
when the announcement comes, we can come back on here. We can talk about it then.
Absolutely.
I would love
In
to
fact,
have
I
you-
could come with Rob.
I think
And
that'd be
maybe the
great.
two of us
Both.
could talk
That'd be great.
about this thing we can't talk about.
That would be kind of cool.
I don't know what that would be though.
Can we get Howie Mandel in here too?
No. Yeah, he's in New York and has no interest in having coffee with me.
It just says New York. It wasn't like New York, you jerk. It was just
Yeah,
New York.
just New York. Yeah, well, that's all he's got time for. He's very busy.
Howie Mandel. He's a
He's a
popular
very,
guy.
very busy man.
I love that.
I'm amazed he wrote me back. I mean, that's a testament to our almost
yeah,
40-year friendship.
I was a huge.
Here it is.
I
Look
see
at that.
it. Look
there
at
it
that.
is.
Right on camera.
Howie,
Look at
New York. His phone number isn't showing, I don't
No,
think.
no.
Right?
No,
Okay, good.
no. I don't think so.
There it
You're
is.
good. You're good.
We'll blur it out. We'll blur it out.
Up here,
We're going to blur out the sweat.
The last time I sent him anything, it was a picture. I was at the Hollywood Bowl and Itzhak Perlman was performing, and I said, oh yeah,
I'm smarter than you, or
you're not at the. I went. You're not at the Hollywood Bowl seeing your cousin right now, by any chance, are you?
Is that his cousin?
Itzhak Perlman is Howie Mandel's cousin, like a second cousin.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not kidding.
Is he like the world's greatest,
The world's greatest violinist.
violin player?
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
amazing.
You said you were the greatest violin player in
Well,
the world. Why do you lie to me all
No,
the
no,
time?
no. I'm pretty close actually.
Yeah, all right,
yeah,
okay.
pretty close.
He looks like Spider-Man, doesn't he? Tom Holland.
You said I look like Fry. I'll take that.
We got the Fry hair, but you
Yeah.
do have a Tom Holland.
Little Tom
thing going
Holland
on.
going on there.
Mix of Fry
Climb
and
this
Tom
wall.
Holland.
Climb
It's
this
the
wall.
right-
Climb
it's
the
the
wall.
right
Turn the
color,
cameras
too.
off. Cameras
It's
off.
Spider-Man blue.
Da-da-da.
What is the deal?
What's
with
the
that?
deal? Spider-Man's blue, but the green room is still not green.
It's still not green.
I don't get
Jerry
it.
Seinfeld has a Porsche this color.
Does he really?
Yes, it's a Superman blue. It's literally,
Superman.
he literally went for
Superman would never do that.
A mix of paint that matched the 1960s Superman uniform.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Superman fan. Well, Maurice, it's been awesome having you.
Thank you.
I have one more voice. If we
What?
can-
What's
One more,
that?
yeah, do it.
I
do it.
love Mr. Big in Zootopia. We can talk about that.
Mr. Big is the only voice that I do that I can't actually perform it live because they gave an 18% squeeze on it. They didn't speed up the performance, but because he's so tiny, they felt he needed to have a higher voice. So I do,
Marlon
you
Brando.
gave my mother a skunk butt rug.
Yeah.
Grandmama, sorry, Grandmama.
Grandmama.
Grandmama, you gave her a skunk butt rug, which we buried her in.
Yes.
Ice.
That character started out actually without any jokes. He was just mean because an Arctic shrew, which is the creature he is
the meanest.
literally the meanest mammal in creation. If you take 5 Arctic shrews
I know a couple of people I worked with that
Yeah.
were probably meaner.
Right, could
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
and you take 5 Arctic shrews and leave them in a cage overnight and come back in the morning, only one will be alive.
Ooh.
And that was Mr. Big.
Yeah.
He's an Arctic shrew.
And little by little, Rich Moore kept, funnying him
I went
up,
to
giving him
school
a-
with Rich Moore.
Yeah.
I know him.
So they kept giving him jokes, and so by the end he became a somewhat lovable character. But he was really just all menace when we first started.
So at the
doing it.
beginning, so you did one session all mean, then came back.
He came back and he
multiple
just
times
kept
to
getting.
do jokes?
I think we did 5 sessions. We just
Wow.
kept,
He's only got
when
like
you've got that kind of time and money that they
Yeah.
have at
Oh
Disney
yeah.
to do
He's only
that.
got like what 5 lines or 2 lines. And
He's in 2 scenes.
Yeah.
He's in 2 scenes.
I love Zootopia. By
Yeah,
the way.
the whole thing with the daughter coming in, that was added later.
Okay.
To
It
show-
plays a big part in the
It's
movie.
huge, yeah. So it just kept. But they have that luxury of just constantly massaging it and adding jokes and
Yeah,
changing things. I mean, to the point that Rich Littell said this on film. Not film. Nobody films anything anymore. Film is gone.
tape,
but
a
he's
digital
been
recording
recorded.
device, yes.
He's been interviewed saying that the film was originally Nick's story, and they had the time and the
yeah.
luxury and the money to realize they needed to have it be her
Judy's-
story, Judy
Yeah.
Hopps'
Nice,
story.
yeah.
So things. That's
It's a great
just,
movie.
It's
Yeah,
a great movie.
And the great Maurice LaMarche, which means Maurice the Walk,
The Walk,
not the marsh. Like not you're born in a marsh.
Not
Like,
La Marche means the walk. It originally meant the walker, like because you were a foot soldier. My original ancestor, that came to Canada in like the 1600s, was a man named Joseph Bricot de la Marche, which means Joseph Bricot of the March.
That's the That's the
Of
Frenchiest thing I've heard.
He's a foot soldier, and he's the one who spawned all the LaMarches in Canada.
Awesome. Look
One
at
more
that.
Disney thing. Aren't you Tapper in Wreck-It Ralph?
I am Tapper
Yeah.
in Wreck-It
So
Ralph,
Are
and
you in Ralph Breaks the
I
Internet?
am in Ralph Breaks
Awesome.
the Internet. It's a
Cool.
little
Okay.
small scene.
Yeah, cool.
Not huge, but I'm there.
He's
Okay, cool.
everything.
There we
Yes.
go.
Thank
Except
you
in
very
Fairly
much.
Odd Parents.
So
It's the
that's-
one thing you weren't
The
in.
one thing I wasn't in.
Why wasn't
So
I in
when
Fairly Odd?
when the feature film comes along, you'll have an Orson Welles super fairy.
I'm gonna have
who's
a Jerry Seinfeld meets Orson Welles.
There you go.
That's what I'm gonna
I love
have.
it.
Meets
I would love it.
Marlon Brando.
We'll work together somehow. But meanwhile, this has been tremendous
This
fun.
been, dude,
Awesome. It's
thank
so
you
much
for
fun.
coming in.
Thank you, Jace, for having
Yes,
me.
thank you so much.
It's
so
really
much
I
fun.
don't know how you talk Butch into it, but thank you. I really appreciate
Jace,
it.
thanks for having
hey,
us on.
Butch,
Jace.
nice to
Thank you.
Yeah,
Nice to
thanks
see
for
you.
coming on
Thank
my
you, man.
podcast.
The
Very
great
much.
Maurice LaMarche.
Oh,
Hey
God
guys,
bless
this
you,
has
man.
been Speech Bubble, and you want to give a little brain closing line before we go?
Speech bubble. Get me a jury and show me how you can say speech bubble. I emphasize bubble instead of speech.
Roll the theme music.
There we go.